So here's some of the games that I played on my road up to S rank with the Crystal Wisp control deck, and this is against Panda JJ, who's a pretty well-known player, and they're playing a control Lyonar deck. And I think this deck is very, very good against the control Lyonar because we have the aspects of the Fox, because we have the Hailstone Prisms, and because we have the Hollow Grove Keeper. So I think this is a fairly good matchup for us, but it ends up being difficult if they're able to get down a powerful minion, such as an Iron Cliff, and we don't have an immediate answer because we're stuck with something like Dancing Blades or one of the other tech cards that doesn't line up as well. So we really need to draw spells in this matchup. And this deck that I'm playing against appears to be even more controlling than most because it's playing Martyrdom and he's using it relatively aggressively, which means that he didn't have another powerful turn 1 play. And against a Healing Mystic, developing just a Provoke minion would have been fairly strong, or just even a 2-drop, so using the Martyrdom as aggressively as he is sort of indicates to me that he's playing a very controlling version of the deck. So, as will often happen with this deck, I'm going to just retreat, and once you get to this point in the game, you often don't want to play Crystal Wisps. It's just going to be too slow, and your minions aren't that expensive that you need to continue accelerating. And you'll see that I will just throw out things like a Delotus as sort of a sacrifice, because I don't mind them just dying. I really want to preserve my general's health, and I just want to transition to the point of the game where I feel like I have the advantage, which is later on when I can cast my spells and my utility minions in the same turn. So I attack the lion here in order to prevent it from getting 2 4 damage attacks off on me, because I know that the roar was becoming available. So we do want to preserve our health, and we don't mind taking the chance that we're going to get Holy Immolation, because if they spend a whole turn Holy Immolationing, I don't think we're in the worst shape, but if they were able to get 8 damage attack off on us, as well as Holy Immolation, I think we might have an issue then. So, yeah, we could have taken 12 damage this turn. Instead, we're just going to take 8, which is a huge amount. But now we do have a tombstone set up. Oh, actually, we took the 2 from the general as well. So we do have the tombstone set up, and it should be able to tank a little bit more damage. We don't think we need the Hailstone Prism because we already are dealing with threats on board. So we want to accelerate just to 6 mana so we can use the Hearth Sister to kill off the lion, because we don't want to have to attack it with our general's face, because going down to 9 gets us pretty low. And we want to retreat to where the tombstone can protect us a little bit. Unfortunately, we had to use it to pick up that mana crystal, so it's a little further back than we'd like, and it doesn't prevent us, the enemy general, from attacking us right now. One thing to note is that at this point we're actually able to start going fairly aggressive on the enemy general. They're already down to 18, and we have a Chaos Elemental on board, which is going to get killed off right here by a 5 mana spell. And that puts them up to 23. But this gives us the tempo lead. Right now, them using an 8 mana spell, they've used 2 Martyrdoms. We know that they probably don't have much more removal that will be effective against this Lord. So we're going to surround them with the Tombstone as well. And we don't want to go too far away from our minions. We do have Aspect of the Fox, Dancing Blade, which is a great combo. It's basically 6 mana, destroy a minion, develop a 4/6, which is amazing. And we also have the Hollow Grove Keeper, but one thing to note about Lyonar is that if you run too far away from your minions, they can drop an Iron Cliff and then kill you quickly with the Divine Bond, which has happened to me. I thought I was safe out in a corner, but they dropped an Iron Cliff, and all of a sudden I was getting beat down for 23 damage. So, right here, we're able to just use the Aspect of the Fox, and then just lay down 6 damage on our opponent, and get them to 17. And at this point, we're starting to count out the lethals we might have, because in this situation we can move forward with our general and attack to finish them off, and we can turn the tombstone into a fox, which would allow it to deal 3 damage. So we have 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 4 is 13, as well as our Bloodborne spell, which is coming up. So we're starting to get to the point where our opponent is able to be killed off pretty quickly. Right here, we have the Grandmaster Zerg come down, so we need to use the aspect of the Fox defensively as opposed to offensively, but that's fine. That's more in line with the average game plan. And we're able just to keep up the pressure with our Lord and develop a Lotus. And because Lyonar doesn't have a ton of rush minions or out of hand spells, our Vanar spell suite is very good at keeping them off the board once we have established control of it. And here we got, at this point I was playing the deck with Duskwhale. Duskwhale is another card I tried out for a while, and it was surprisingly effective. And it was sort of like a super dancing blades that could fly and fight some backline minions as well. So all my minions get dispelled, which is fairly effective against this deck, and then Holy Immolation. So I'm actually in a fairly tough spot because all of a sudden my entire board is pretty weak. All I have left is this 4/3 Dancing Blades, and I don't actually have a lethal. I have 4 damage plus 3 plus 2 is only 9, and I could cycle to try to get a Chromatic Hold, but having that Hollow Grove Keeper, which I've kept in my hand the entire game, is so effective against Iron Cliffs and things along those lines, Silver God Knights, that I am very, very hesitant to ever replace that if I don't have to. And right here, I don't have to. I still think I'm in a decent position. He only has 3 cards in hand, and I have a decent level of inevitability if I just keep up my Bloodborne spell. And right here, without my Hollow Grove Keeper, I wouldn't be able to kill this Provoke and also hit the enemy general with my minions. So the Hollow Grove Keeper allows me to just kill off the Provoke and then fly in for the kill with my Duskwhale. So that was a game against Lyonar, and you saw some of the cards that aren't necessarily in the deck, but what's important to note is that the minions in the deck don't really matter. The minions are just part of executing the overall strategy, so they're very, very interchangeable outside of those core.